Hello everyone and welcome back. Today we're talking about another CGC lawsuit. This time we're talking about the CGC Reholder scam, the big scam that everybody kind of knew about from the jump. This is the one that they're finally suing the people that were responsible for that. We've got names, we have what they did, the allegations, we've got examples of what they did. This is the lawsuit of the two. This is the one that is significantly more interesting because this is the one we've been following for so long. We have the documents here again, and this is filed on February 2nd, so literally 2 days before this filming. But this time we're talking about a case that is in New York. The other case that we covered earlier this week, that was in Florida for the CGC employee that was working in CGC and stealing books. This time we've got the CGC Reholder folks. And both, again, the defendants are a man and woman. It's like a Bonnie and Clyde situation. Like, I guess like this man and wife, they get down on their luck and they're like, we got to scam somebody. Well, this time it's Ulysses Zanillo and Bree Rivera. I mean, Ulysses Zanillo, that sounds like a Captain America villain or something. CGC's the plaintiff again, and we have, like I said, Zanillo as the villain here, the defendant. Again, we have the nature of the action, so I'm just going to kind of read this. This is civil action for an injunction, damages, and other appropriate relief arising out of the defendant's trademark infringement, trademark counterfeiting, and false designation of origin. The defendant's willful deception of consuming public by selling comic books as if they were graded by CGC when they were not, including by using CGC's grading label features CGC's name, brand, and original artwork in connection with the sale of ungraded comic books. There's a vast majority of this that kind of goes, they kind of use verbatim what they did from the other lawsuit, just kind of establishing what CGC is, talking about, what services they offer. And this is kind of what they did here in line 3. Defendants, aware of the significant goodwill associated with CGC's name and brand, have engaged and are continuing to engage in a fraudulent scheme whereby they offer for sale what appears to be and what they advertise and market as CGC certified comic books and CGC branded sealed holders. In reality, defendants are swapping the CGC certified comic books with inferior, lower value comic books, and in many cases submitting them to CGC to purposely reholder in a CGC branded holder. As a result, consumers believe they are receiving legitimate comic books certified by CGC and agree to pay a consumerate price, but they are actually receiving swapped comic books resealed in CGC holder with false grading information. Okay, and now they're talking about jurisdiction and venue. So this is where they're talking about the defendants reside in the state of New York. A lot of their business was conducted in the state of New York and New York City specifically. Apparently, the defendants were doing business worldwide using eBay. They talk about using eBay's online marketplace, and but this lawsuit is being filed in New York City, or New York specifically. This is interesting here. Zanillo owns and or controls multiple accounts on eBay's online marketplace, including Corner 142, Elysium 142, Zaniglor, and Aureliog accounts. The Zaniglor and Elysium 142 accounts were not available as of January 12th. So if you've bought from any of those, you need to be looking at what you bought. And then Riva owns or controls the eBay accounts Comic Selects and Briva 3. And they are married. They believe that they are married. And here we have the background of CGC. Again, this is kind of what I was talking about, where they kind of giving a synopsis, legitimizing CGC, what CGC is, what services they provide, examples of the labels, CGC's comic book slabbing and reholdering services specifically so that they can explain how this was taken advantage of. Examples of slab CGC certified books. Now we're talking about CGC's intellectual property, their IP, so that they're suing for the trademark infringement. Okay, so here we go in Part E, defendants and their infringing fraudulent acts. Upon information and belief, defendants collect and sell comic books, including online through their various eBay accounts and on consignment through ComicLink's online collectible marketplace. I mean, both of these lawsuits are involving ComicLink's online marketplace. That's crazy. I've never bought anything from ComicLink, but I know that is a place where a lot of people get a lot of deals. It looks like in 2010, they became a CGC customer. And then defendant Riva used Zenio's customer account. They initially made all submissions using Zenio's account. In 2016, they also made submissions under a dealer account calling the Comic Book Underground, which is a brick and mortar comic store in New York. Looks like in 2016, defendants granted defendants permission to access and use the CBS account in violation of the terms of the website. So they're also suing for not following the contract that you agree to when you are signing up with CGC or agreeing to submit. Over the years, the defendants have submitted more than 2,000 comic books to CGC under Zenio's account. Approximately 369 of the submissions were for reholdering. However, defendant submissions have increased in recent years, with approximately 253 submissions in 2021, 345 submissions in 2022, and 329 submissions in 2023. So these guys, or these people, I mean, they have submitted a lot of books. That is not good. Upon receiving defendant submissions, whether under Zenio's account, the CGC certified or reholder the comic books in the ordinary course as requested, and then return them to the defendant's address. Okay, the declared aggregate value of the comic book submitted by the defendant is nearly $4 million. To reduce the rates required by shipping providers for insurance of the shipped books, the market value of the comic book often exceeds the value declared by the submitter. So they're submitting in a lower tier to try to avoid getting hit with excess shipping charges. Okay, and here's the scam. I mean, this is where it's detailed. On or about December 21st, 2023, CGC discovered the defendants are engaged in a fraudulent swapping scheme where they obtain CGC certified comic books, 1, 2, open or otherwise tamper with the sealed CGC holder, 3, swap the CGC certified comic book out for an inferior lower value copy of the same or similar book, and then 4, submit the inferior lower value book and the CGC holder with grading information applicable to the original CGC certified comic book for reholdering. And then 5, then upon receipt of the reholdered comic book from CGC, offer for sale, advertise, and distribute the lower value comic book in the fresh CGC holder with false grading information to unsuspecting customers. Upon information and belief in some cases, defendants skipped the 4th step, reholdering, and proceeded straight to offering for sale, advertising, and distribute the swap comic books to consumers in the original CGC holder. Defendants have submitted hundreds of comic books in their fraudulent scheme. Specifically, for example, on or about December 15th, defendants submitted 3 comic books for reholdering. This is where it gets funny. The comic books appeared to be CGC certified copies of Hulk 340, ASM 252, New Mutants 98. All the books had been swapped, and here we have the examples of the books. First, the CGC certified copy of 340 and the comic book defendants submitted in its place for reholdering are shown side by side. Although they are sealed in the same CGC holder, as is evident by the unique cert number, a close review of the books are different. The CGC certified copy is a direct edition, and then the other, the copy the defendant swapped in the CGC holder and submitted for reholdering is a newsstand. So not real smart there. Two very different books. The second is the ASM 252. The comic book the defendant submitted in its place for reholdering are shown side by side. Again, the comic books are the same holder, but the copy for the defendant submitted reholdering is not the one the CGC originally certified. And then you can tell the difference between these two books is one doesn't have the 1984 Marvel Comics group, while the other, the CGC certified copy at the left, but is fully visible on Zenio's copy. Third, the CGC certified copy of New Mutants 98 and the comic book the defendant submitted in its place, as compared to the CGC certified barcode, is further right, creating a bigger gap between the barcode and the comic book spine. The original certified copy again on the left, and then you have that larger gap on the copy submitted for reholdering. Now this is where it gets really interesting. In all three of these examples, the copy of the comic book the defendant submitted for reholding is a lower grade in quality and has significantly lower value in the marketplace. For example, the difference between a comic book graded 9.2 and the same for 9.4 may be 30 grand, often due to differences that are difficult to see for many people to see readily. On or about December 16, 2023, a member of the comic book community with a large social media following posted on Instagram about the possible scam involving a scale of what appeared to be a sale of a CGC comic book 252 for $15,000. He suspected it had been swapped for a copy that had sold for merely $2,200. This link will take you to this to the newsstand 9.9, his Instagram. Again, he is the person that kind of he made me aware of this suit. I mean, he is being featured in this lawsuit as where they got the information. Is CGC literally getting their information from YouTubers, Instagram accounts, like members of the community? That's where they're getting their information about these things. I didn't realize that we had such a profound effect on this company. Like, this is crazy. Upon information and belief, defendants are behind the scam identified in the Instagram post. The Instagram post prompted a discussion in the comic book community, and they posted a summary and the Reholder scam in the CGC message boards, which tied defendants' various eBay accounts to multiple potential swaps. This is when it gets even funnier. The defendants called CGC. Upon information and belief, defendants became aware of the discussion among the comic book community. Realizing their fraudulent scheme was unraveling, they called on December 18th. The customer service to recover 3 books they had recently submitted for reholdering. He called 4 times between the 18th and 19th, stating, for example, that the 3 comic books have been incorrectly shipped, that the submission was a huge mistake, and that he is kind of stressing out and definitely needs to get them back from CGC. The calls are recorded. On or about December 21st, defendants created a limited liability company named Lakota Mountain House, LLC, naming Zenio and Riva as examples of the entity. Dude, if that doesn't sound sketchy as hell, I don't know what is. In late December, CGC initiated an investigation into defendants' illegal sales or activities. To date, CGC has confirmed that a number of comic books submitted by the defendants for reholdering have been swapped. CGC is reviewing hundreds of other comic books submitted by defendants and expects to find that many of these have also been swapped. Multiple third parties who have been duped by the defendants' fraudulent swapping scheme, including individual comic book collectors and consignment businesses, under the mistaken belief that the comic books there had been CGC certified. Here it shows examples of transactions on eBay, agreed to refund. December 31st, became aware of a large and well-respected comic book auction firm, Comic Link, was in possession of a number of potentially swapped comic books and CGC reholders. Because Comic belief they had received legitimate high-value comic books, Comic Link advanced Zenio tens of thousands of dollars for the comic books. So now we talk about the counts. So they've got trademark infringement, a violation of blah, blah, blah. Then we have count 2, trademark counterfeiting in violation of blah, blah, blah. Count 3, false designation of origin in violation. And count 4, common law trademark infringement and unfair competition. Count 5, contributory trademark infringement of violation. Count 6, breach of contract, which is what we're talking about with the CGC contract. And they demand a jury trial. So CGC is requesting a trial by jury on all issues. And they are, again, I think, suing for $2 million. Statutory damages of up to $2 million for each trademark the defendants have counterfeited infringement. So how many? It was $10 million? I don't know. And this is the law firm that they're working with, Mitchell, Seibelberg, and Knupp. This is the same law firm they're using for the lawsuit that's in Florida. Guys, this is insane. They have the proof. We, as a comic book YouTuber or a Instagram person or somebody that contributes to the CGC message boards, we are doing CGC's work for them in a lot of ways, finding these problems, unveiling these schemes. I mean, this is incredible. They actually put an Instagram link in this lawsuit. Absolutely wild. Guys, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If at any point in time you like this video, give it a thumbs up. And if you like this video, subscribe for more. Take care.